Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're coming from. We appreciate you tuning in to join me and Adil with Lean, the secret power of great leaders. I'll let Adil or Dr. Dilal introduce himself. What I'm going to do is go through a little bit of housekeeping and tell you some things about how things are going to work. So let's see. I usually have more of a presentation than I do. Fortunately, I'm on the road today, as is Adil. He's out in the Middle East, and it's probably getting close to his bedtime. So we appreciate you being here for that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Really my pleasure as the chair-elect of Lean Division. This is fantastic that so many people are showing up and spending your lunch hour, your post-lunch hour with us, or near lunch hour based on where you are. So as Manny said, I'm actually teaching a class in the Middle East this week. So I'm coming in live from there, and it is truly a pleasure to be with all of you. And I want this to be interactive. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and Manny will pause me and we'll, discuss it. So I want this to be more of a open discussion, and hope you guys get some gold nuggets out of it. So very quickly, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm the CEO of Pinnacle Process Solutions. I've been an executive for several industries, a member of Forbes Coaching Council. I've been the past chair of Human Development Leadership Division and chair-elect for ASQ LED. I've been an international keynote speaker. I've opened conferences at the UK House of Lords, Saudi government, Davos, and 100 plus events. I recently did a TEDx, which will be coming out soon. I'm author of 7 books. I've personally led over 350 global business programs and projects across almost 25 different industries. I've been very fortunate enough to win awards for my book, The 12 Pillars, the 2015 Philip Crosby Medal, Shingo Research Medal, Best Business Book Medal. Also authored some other books, which I will show in a little while. Also have a few other awards. I don't know if I deserve all of them, but I've been fortunate. I work on several different things. I'm part of the ASQ Connects. I teach almost 18 classes through ASQ Connects. I have a doctorate in business administration. I have 2 masters and currently finishing up my doctorate in science. So these are some of the books I've written. These 2 came out this year, and I have 1 more coming out, Lean AI. So this year I have 3 in the publication. As a Forbes author, Coaching Council, I've written 50 plus articles. Some are major full-length articles, some are expert advice. So been very fortunate. The paper I'm going to be discussing today is this one. So I will try to see if I can send Manny a link to this paper, and you guys can very easily download that. And let me see if I can just put it in chat right now. So, okay, I just did. So you'll get a copy of that. Always want to work with different technologies and trying to really be as innovative as I can. I don't think there's always room for innovation. So I've created Super Conscious Leadership, which is a big announcement coming very soon on that. The V Factor Pinnacle Performance Zone, that's also a part of my software for stress management, Lean technology, holistic lean. These are some of the other things, including for kids and teens. So these are some of the areas of my expertise and something I try to kind of keep everything current. I have a lean board game. I have an iCulture game, which is very unique, where you can actually visualize your culture. This is the PPZ software, which is for stress management. I also do a lot of work with brain science, which is the neurofeedback and other areas. So in fact, the V Factor book is completely on neuroscience of how to use the power of visualization, but from a neuroscience perspective. So today, what is the dilemma for leaders? Wasted potential versus limited global resources. Today, our population is growing at a very steep level, the global population. And what they're doing is leaders are not able to keep up, and there is a lot of wasted potential in people. There's increasing complexity and variability. It is completely baffling the leaders today. I think they're just leaders in name because they themselves don't know how to navigate through some of the mazes and some of the new technologies, the Generation Z problem, the Generation Alpha problem, all those gen problems are also there. Technology is there. Complexity, variability, this is up their time and their human systems. This is very close to my heart. I speak a lot on stress and burnout. I have a personal experience when I was working for a major company when I realized that stress can really stop you in your tracks in whatever you are trying to do in your life. So something which is, these three are the modern dilemmas for leaders. There may be others. I'm going to focus on these three. So let's look at the wasted potential versus limited global resources. This is from Gallup. And if you see out here the graph, you see that if you look at the actively disengaged and not engaged, you will see that 68% of employees are not engaged at work. That is a massive waste of human talent and energy. And obviously with AI coming in, it's going to get worse and worse. Leaders struggle to inspire a shared purpose, failing in their most critical role, which is to engage the people. Without engagement, you cannot get anything done as a leader. Increasing complexity and variability, rapid technological changes, globalization, and complex stakeholder demands make leadership approaches inadequate. Our MBA style leadership, whatever the university is teaching about leadership, is truly becoming obsolete day by day. So looking at a new way of leading, looking at new approaches to leading, and you saw in my list of innovations, I have sensei leadership, higher conscious leadership, super conscious leadership. So this is very important to me, is that to change the mindset of leaders, and lean leadership is one area which I'm focusing on. Old command and control models can't keep up with today's VUCA environment, which is the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. That is really driving today's era, and it's going to get worse. This is just the beginning of that. So the age of AI and robotics is making the environment exponentially unstable. The TEDx talk I did was on AI and neuroscience, how a human life will be impacted with that. So really, I think once that comes out, you guys will get a totally different perspective on why AI can be extremely helpful, but also can really change our future in positive or negative way. Stress, human systems. So when we talk about stress, stress is not only about people, it's also on the systems. So according to Harvard Medical Study, it states that 50% of people, which is about 4 billion people, are facing stress, anxiety, or other mental issues. Now, in my global travel, I really feel that it is much more than that. I would put this at 80 to 90% right now. And that is, I think, being conservative on that. So today's world is full of stress, anxiety, and other mental issues. Also, global systems are stretched and under intense pressure throughout. You see, as the population increases, they have to serve our infrastructure. Everything is totally under stress. And you can see that day to day in your own organization. So we talk about leadership in a big way, responsibility, motivation, engagement. There is one thing missing, which I feel we need to sprinkle that in, and that is lean. Why is lean leadership such an important thing? So let's talk first, take a step back. I know a lot of you, if you're part of Lean Division, you know what lean is, but let me just give you a take on what traditional lean and what my take on lean is. I have a very different take on lean. So lean is a management philosophy of continuous improvement and respect for people. So the people side is important. It originated from Toyota Production System, and lean focuses on maximizing value to the customer. So it's customer centric. It's not about layoffs or cutting for the sake of really letting people go. And that is one of my pet peeves about lean, is we are using it more as a bludgeon than as a scalpel to really remove the true problems facing our workplace. So now, why lean includes tools, it's the genuine power is in the mindset of simplicity and scientific problem solving. This is something which people are missing completely. And I've spoken about this at conferences. I've written about this. There is a paper in ASQ, which I wrote several years ago called Keep It Simple. I also did a lean conference with that take on Keep It Simple. It was a very well received paper. And so for me, think of Lean as the science of simplicity, distilling the complex challenges down to the root causes and simple, effective solutions. If we can do that, it is a game changer. So this is the universal truth. Make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler. That is why I call it a science. If you are able to fine tune it, just like a radio dial, you're going to make it exactly where it is. Because what happens is, we need to, and I'm going to explain that in a while. Why do you need to dial it in? So, as I said, I've written about this in my book on Sensei Leadership, or the 12 Pillars of Project Excellence. I talk about 5 magical powers of great leaders, and power of delegation, power of dynamic leadership, power of visualization, lean thinking, and humility. And this is where the focus should be, lean thinking. This is one of the great powers. Why is it? Because it's the power of simplicity, the ability to identify value, eliminate waste relentlessly. Not just I did something yesterday. Every day you come in, you have to look for where you can cut the waste. Leaders who practice lean simplify the processes and focus teams on what truly matters to everyone. And, I've been very lucky that this book won the Philip Crosby Medal as well as the Shingo Medal. So, there is some value in what it took me 3 years to write this book, but it was well worth the effort. So, power of lean, this is the truth behind everything. When you have complexity in anything, you are always going to be seeing some chaos. So whenever you're seeing that people are running helter-skelter, there are fire drills happening, you bet that there is complexity built into the system. On the flip side, when you have simplicity, it creates a very sophisticated system. So complexity and chaos are one side of the one type of a coin. Simplicity and sophistication are another type. It's our choice which one we need to choose. And lean leaders will always go towards the simplicity and sophistication coin. So keep that coin in your pocket. So power of lean for leaders. Lean is a way of life, a continuous improvement culture where every level of organization is involved in finding better ways. From the janitor to the CEO, everyone needs to be thinking lean. What can I change in my job today? That is what we need to know. Leaders in lean organizations more act as coaches, fostering a lean learning environment where mistakes are opportunities. There are no mistakes. There are only things which you learn from. And that is how you don't know failures in life. It's only what we learn to get to the next level. So as we talked about the modern dilemma, there is wasted potential versus limited global resources. We talked about the yucca, increasing complexity and variability, and the human factors. Lean has a solution for all three. That is why lean leadership is very critical. So let's get into now the solutioning of this problem. So we talked about 68% of employees are not engaged at work, and leaders are failing at the most basic thing of leadership, engaging people. So what can lean do for us? There is a tool in lean called Mura. We all know that. Mura is waste removal, but we are looking at it just as a tool. I'm going to shift our mindset of how to truly use Mura. So first of all, Mura is a Japanese term which refers to a waste or inefficiency in a process. It encompasses activities that consume your resources without adding any value to customer. So eliminating or minimizing Mura is crucial for improving anything in your processes or your system or within your organization. And believe me, I have worked across 5 continents. There is not a single Fortune 100 company I have worked with, smaller companies. Not a single one of them does not have Mura. Mura lives there. So this is Mura, Mr. Mura. It's an 8-headed monster. Travel, information, motion, energy, waiting, over documentation, over processing, and defects. Energy means human energy too. It's not just the machine or the workplace energy. It basically drains our energy. So Mr. Mura is villain number 1 for us. If we can capture that, what Why is it a villain? Let me explain. So as we get enthusiastically into work, we are engulfed by this Mr. Muda. It overtakes us every day when you go and you see all this waste everywhere. And sometimes you're not even seeing it. It just around you. It just envelopes you. So it takes over your brain power. And you keep chasing Muda all the time and it gets you down. By the end of the day, you feel, what did I accomplish? I was doing fire drills. I was just chasing the waste. So it has a huge impact on our businesses, on our efficiency, on everything we do. Now, this is the key. This is a mind-blowing fact which people don't understand about lean. They may understand it, but they have not seen it as a true example. So let's look at a non-lean organization. Typically, you will see 5%. I've even seen as low as 1%, but let's say 5% value add, 20% not necessary non-value add, which is your regulatory and other things, and 75% Muda. And that's actually a very small number compared to what I've seen in some organizations. So what do typically organizations want to do? Oh, our value add is only 5%. Let's increase it by 50%. Okay. Let's add more resources. Let's buy a new machine. Let's put in some capital expenditure on making that. So if you increase it by 50%, you are at 8% now. You are at 8%. The not necessary non-value add will not change. And your Muda is reduced from 75 to 72. Aha. Yeah, that really is this innovation. Is this where you're going to get the benefit for a company? Absolutely not. So what is the other option? This is the key to lean. Lean does not focus on value add. It only focuses on removing waste. That is Muda. That is how you get after Muda. So let's say we decrease non-value added by 50%. So it's a pie. When you decrease the non-value added by 50% to 37, the pie automatically shifts in the favor of value add. Your value added now percentage jumps from 5 to 43%. That is a massive increase of 760%. This is an eye opener for people. Do not go after value add. Go after Muda. That is the villain. So this really truly changes the game for lean organizations. Let's see a dad of the year. Yeah. Look at him. He has a reel in his hand, just reeling it in. So work smarter, not harder. We always hear that, but how do we really, implementing that on a daily basis? Are we making our lives simpler? It takes a little effort. It takes a little innovation to do that. So now, how do we overcome Muda, or what happens when you overcome Muda? Your brain, if you really come with a neuroscientific background, you understand how to look at waste, how to go after, and that is what I coach my leaders in. I am, as I said, as I'm a coach, I coach people on how to really develop that brain power. And what you do with that brain power, you are able to capture and actually enslave. You're never going to eliminate. Even Toyota has never been able to eliminate Muda. So don't think about eliminating it. You just need to know how to control it. And that's when your brain power, you will be able to focus on what truly matters. This is the focus of leaders. This is what leaders should be doing, focusing on what truly matters for their employees and for the clients. So that is how a leader should operate. Let me give you a very simple case study on that, smarter, not harder. If you have heard about Yunus, he basically Muhammad Yunus was in Bangladesh. What was happening was there were people, loan sharks were going after the people and really giving them major loans where they didn't need, they just needed maybe $1 a day to keep the business going. And they would give them, say, $100. And then when they could not repay them, they took over the businesses, their farms, everything was taken over by the loan sharks. And people literally were dying, committing suicide because of that. So Muhammad Yunus thought, How can I solve this problem? He started the Gram Bank, which is the microfinancing. He gave them whatever they needed. They would return the money with a little bit of interest that would go to the next person. So he ended up winning the Peace Prize for this. So I'm not going to show you the video on it, but if you go and research this, this is true lean thinking. This is what a lean leader does. He looks at the problem. What is the problem? Why are they giving them so much money? Why is that excess resources being put? And why are people dying because of that? So what is the solution is don't give them so much money. Whatever they need, limited resources, give them that. They're doing their herding goats or they're doing farming, whatever they're doing, they need a little bit of support. And then they can pay the interest back. So he's created this movement which has truly changed a lot of countries who implement this system. This is lean leadership. Okay? So if you have any questions on this, please put it in chat. Be very happy to answer. Moving on, second problem with the complexity and variability. So rapid technological changes, globalization, and complex. We've talked about that. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. This is the sad truth of today. And this is just the beginning of that. It will get worse. Age of AI and robotics is making the environment exponentially unstable. Leaders really are leading people in a blind way because there's no way they don't have a crystal ball. And that's why the V Factor book, which I wrote, The Power of Visualization, is about how leaders can use the brain power to really see into the future. Because if they are not able to do that today, tomorrow is going to be extremely difficult for them. So what I'm trying to do is increase the level of humanity to counter AI. AI is a great tool. As I said, I'm writing, my next book is on AI. So I'm not against AI, but what I'm worried about is the impact on humanity, impact on leaders because of AI. And if we do not give leaders new tools, new way of thinking, we'll be lost, honestly, we'll be lost. So that is my fear. And with my research, what I've done, that is something which truly is coming our way. So Lean has a solution for that too. It's called Mura. That's another villain in your story, is the Mura. Mura is a Japanese term, refers to unevenness or inconsistency in process, workflow, or anything you do. It can manifest as inconsistent workflows, fluctuating demand, unbalanced workload, leading to various problems from defects to quality issues to increased downtime. In fact, the whole area of quality exists because of fluctuations, because of the common cause variation and special cause variation. If we didn't have that, everything would be so stable, we'd need quality assurance or quality control. Because once you dial it in, it's all set. So Mura is villain number 2 in what we do. So key takeaway for leaders, Mura is often invisible, but it's the silent killer of efficiency and agility. You cannot automate your way out of chaos. You must level it. And the key thing is variability management is a strategic weapon in today's volatile world. So how you manage variability is something every leader will need to learn because of the world we are in today. So you don't lead in chaos by adding complexity. You lead by removing the variability. That is the secret mantra which every leader needs to know. Jeff Bezos, he is Mr. Lean Thinking in action. Bezos built Amazon in one of the world's largest and most efficient companies by constantly focusing on the value he can add to the customer and operational efficiency. His obsession, and Amazon, all the leaders' obsession with streamlining processes, reducing waste and optimizing resources, is a hallmark of lean leadership, which has allowed company to scale rapidly. So today, Amazon is, one of the most valuable companies on this planet, along with a few others. But how did he reach there? The power of a leader is shown in times of crisis. And what was the recent crisis the world went through? COVID, we went through that. So COVID e-commerce surged. Nobody was going to stores. No could go to stores. So what was happening? Everyone is on their computer ordering from Amazon. So Amazon's orders just blew up completely. They faced a incredible VUCA storm in their business. Explosive demand, integration of robotics and AI in real-time fulfillment. So this is some of the things they had to do. Global supply chain disruptions happened, labor shortages. People could not go to work and unpredictable workforce. So this created Mura at a very different scale. And suddenly they had to face this. Volatile order patterns hour by hour, unpredictable inventory needs, uneven workforce and delivery capacities, supply chain was broken. So this put immense stress on a business, and Amazon came ahead with that. So they combated Mura to master the VUCA. Amazon combined AI plus lean plus robotics to reduce the variability in operations and created predictability at scale. So they did machine learning forecasts, smoothed the entire demand. They had robots created flow-based picking, removing some of the human variability, dynamic slotting in warehouses. It reduced the motion waste and balanced the workloads. So they were reducing all the variability there. And micro fulfillment centers, they could have different centers close to where we needed, brought inventory closer to the consumer, reducing the lead time variation. So results, 200 million plus packages shipped on time weekly, even at the peak of pandemic. This is the true value of a company. When they can do that and able to deliver at a very critical time of a crisis, that is the mark of a great leader. That is the mark of a great company. So 35% increase in pick rate using robots plus leveled human tasks. Less chaos is equal to more agility and resilience in your business as well as for your clients. So very important. So we've talked about so far villain number one, Mura. Villain number two, which lives in your organization, is Mura. Okay? That is the variability villain. Now let's move on to the third factor, human systems factor, stress and burnout. Again, we talked about how 50% of the people are under stress, and even the global systems are under stress. Lean has a solution for that too. And that is your third villain in your organization, which is Muri. So Muri is a Japanese term, translates to overburden, unreasonableness of beyond one's power, or excessiveness. So it signifies a state where the workload or demand exceeds the capacity or capability of the system, leading to potential problems. So key takeaway for leaders, stress is not equal to strength. Leaders think that putting people under stress is good. It is the worst thing they can do. Because from a neuroscience point of view, your prefrontal lobe shuts down during stress. So they are actually getting the opposite results. So there has to be a better way. So pushing people past the limit doesn't build grit. It breeds burnout. Great leaders design systems, not just push people. So that's why, using lean systems is very powerful. Balance before brilliance. High performance begins with balancing the workloads. Muri hides in heroic efforts. Real excellence comes from simplified flow, not the fire drills we do every day. The people who can do good fire drills become heroes in organization. Yeah, that's the wrong thing to do. You want to value the stability. You want to reward the people who are able to create less drama in the business. Machines need maintenance, so do humans. Overburdening tools causes breakdown. The same goes for the minds and bodies. So I do a lot of workshops on stress management. And as I said, I have a actual software where you are playing a game and you are seeing your stress level actually coming down real time. So you can actually measure that. So I'm very, very much passionate about helping the human beings, because from a neuroscience point of view, when we are under stress, it really does not allow us to perform well, does not allow us to make good decisions. Leaders, their role is making decisions. When they cannot make a good decision due to stress, it's a waste of, they'll be replaced by AI very soon if we continue on that path. So we need to respect both with rest, rhythm, and realistic expectations. So key takeaway for leaders, buffer the peaks, plan for human variability, use shift staggering, demand smoothing, or AI-assisted scheduling. to absorb searches before they hit people. So the variability affects the people, creates more stress on them. So it's a chain reaction. Standardize to stabilize. Clarity reduces the cognitive load. You place clear roles, visuals to cut chaos. Predictability lowers the stress level. You can see that for yourself. When things are more predictable, it becomes easier for you to operate. Lead with humanity. A lean system respects people. Reducing Mura is just not about process improvement. It's a leadership responsibility to protect the well-being of the people. When I was the chair of Human Development Leadership Division, I was the first one to create a chair of well-being. And because I really understood the power of keeping healthy bodies, healthy minds. So, transformative leadership mindset using lean, eliminate non-value added activities, variability, smooth the workloads. You will get an outcome of stability, agility, and reduce chaos. And Mura, balance the workloads, embed recovery, avoid overloading people and machines. Here you are going to lower the burnout and create sustained performance. So this is how lean leader will, bring these three villains under control and become the hero of the day and hero for a lifetime. So this is very critical for us to do. Why is this critical? It's because we are in the fifth industrial revolution already, which is the AI revolution. So by doing more with less, leaders can ensure their organizations not only survive, but excel and thrive in today's ever-changing landscape. This is very critical. I cannot overstate the importance of this, that in the age of AI, humanity will need a new approach to everything we do. If you think social media has been bad for our youngsters and for our adults, just wait till AI takes full form. AI is, I was on a TV interview and I said, the savant toddler just learning right now. And once it becomes it is going to really overtake everything. And that is a true statement. So in conclusion, the future of leadership, for any leader seeking to stay competitive and foster innovation and address global challenges, which we are currently facing, lean thinking is the secret power that unlocks the full potential of leadership. So you can scan the barcode, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can go to my website and open to any questions. One of my kind of thing is futuristic. I'm always, extrapolating and say, if this is what is happening now, where will it go next? Oh, wow. JD says, nicely done. That you made my day, JD, and the week. Thank you. So basically, I am always thinking how to solve the problems. And it's about really helping people. It's not about, hey, I want to create something new. That's not my passion. My passion is how do I make sure that people are prepared for the next? That's why one of my books is called The Legacy-Driven Life. Legacy is about giving back to the next generation. Leave the planet better than we came in with. So this is how we are going to do this. And that is what drives me, Manny, is really making this slightly better, because we all are going to leave this, someday or the other. If I can leave it slightly better, then I think it's mission complete.
Sure. Okay. I'm just looking through the chat. I don't know if you're taking a look. Someone's asking if you could comment on the value of learning process mapping for developing agentic workflows.
Process mapping is the foundation. Whenever the word process occurs, mapping is key. Now, mapping is a very broad field. How do you map a process? You can have a SIPOC mapping. You can have a flow charting. You can have a value stream mapping. You can have a business process mapping. There are so many different kinds of mapping. So using the right mapping tool, you do that is the key thing. That answers.
Okay. Somebody else is asking, could you elaborate on the impact of AI on the leadership, especially?
Excellent question.
Right. So especially given the fact that people in the news are talking about reducing white collar jobs. What do you think that might look like? Because I would imagine it's leadership too.
Absolutely. And this is whoever asked this is brilliant because that is exactly what will happen. What AI is used for is making good decisions. Who is responsible for making good decisions in your organization? It's the white collar people. So who's going to be eliminated very soon? You will have an AI CEO at some point. I won't be. I will not put it past. And I'm saying in very near future, you may see that.
Sure. Okay. For anybody who wasn't paying attention to the chat, I have put in a number of links, both for Adil's LinkedIn, as well as for LED for YouTube and my ASQ and LinkedIn. So if you haven't checked them out, take a look.
One more thing I want to mention is that I will be doing an opening keynote on the 22nd for the ASQ Energy Conference. So I thought I had a slide on that, but it's not showing up. So I'll be the opening keynote for that. I will be talking about developing a mindset of excellence.
Being the leadoff hitter is quite a good spot to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Super. Let's see. Also, I did put in a link, and I invited you, Adil, for the October 8th webinar.
Okay.
It's an AMA or an Ask Me Anything on project management.
Awesome.
So the link is in the chat now, so feel free to look at that.
Sure.
There
are many other questions coming in.
There is another one, but let me finish. When I'm not in front of a client, I will put the registration link for this event up on my ASQ, so you'll be able to see it there.
Perfect.
So somebody asks, what's your personal definition of respect for people, and how do we practice it every day?
I think respect for people is really putting yourself in their shoes, right? If you feel that this is how you want to be treated, you better treat them that's the way. So leaders sometimes, that's why if you saw my 5 powers of great leaders, the last one is humility. What happens with leadership, and when you get a little more power, the head becomes a little bigger. Okay? You can't get through doorways with that big head. So humility teaches us that people are very important, and we need to make sure that we really have developed that EQ to understand the impact of your words, your actions on their life. Leaders have a very big, kind of view in the life of people. They can control the life of people, and they don't understand that power.
Sure. I don't know if you're seeing some of the questions here, but somebody else asked about more information or a book on Mura, and Mori. So
recently I had there was one who wrote a nasty email to me. And I said, as a professional, this is unbecoming of you. It's unbecoming of you. You cannot be doing that. And especially with the ASQ, we really need to make sure that we are very cognizant of that, because in fact, in one of the previous divisions I had to let go a person for being kind of disrespectful towards my other leaders. So from a voluntary position, I had to let them go. It was a vice chair, and I had to let them go. So I'm very, very serious about respecting people.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, there's some more questions related to AI and future roles. And it sounds like some people are suggesting that AI is going to make it'll make it easier for people to manage larger areas.
Yes.
But some things will never be taken by AI. And I hope that's the case for sure. Thoughts on that? I mean, span of control or span of influence, I suppose, would change. It would expand. But I think like I say, AI can't tell me what I want for dinner. So, it can only make suggestions. So there is some amount of decision making that's still going to be done by people.
I think the thing about AI is it's going to affect every part of your life, and every person, 8 billion people on this planet, will be touched by AI in some way, shape, or form. We are already using it on a daily basis to Netflix, to Amazon. Everything is AI. So as I said, AI is a toddler right now. It's just crawling. Just wait till it becomes, and the IQ of AI they have measured for ChatGPT is already very close to Einstein's AI as a toddler. So just think what will happen when it really becomes an adult. And it also depends on us, how we grow it. I'll share a link. I did a really nice interview on a show called AI Today. You'll be able to, if you want to share that on a Lean division or wherever, feel free to do that. It's a really good discussion on this topic of where AI will take our world and leaders especially.
We'll be sending that out probably next week. Just get it to me before then, and we'll include it right on.
Sure.
Super. Okay. So we still have another 9 minutes before I turn into a pumpkin. So,
I still have meetings to attend, so don't worry.
oh, sure, yeah. So my class isn't complaining because I gave an extra long break, but I still have to get back before long. So, thoughts, questions, comments? So no, I'm just laughing at some of the chat. So I saw a lot of enjoyed the presentation, great presentation type stuff. Somebody else just asked, what's your favorite book about Lean?
What is my favorite book? I think I like Dennis Pascal's book a lot.
Okay, sure.
Lean Simplified, I think. But again, I'm not playing favorites. There are so many great books out there. Again, my take on Lean is the simplicity. That's why in my book, 12 Pillars, I talk about Lean. The whole chapter on Lean is called The Science of Simplicity. That is really a true definition of what Lean should be.
Okay.
Beth and I are going to do from our book, upcoming book, we're going to present, I think, in September, October. Right?
Somebody asks, what's the difference that you see between Lean and TPS?
Lean and TPS, TPS and Lean are synonymous. So basically, we call it Lean, but Toyota calls it Toyota Production System. Obviously, they are more advanced. They have created more tools, and some of them may be available to the people. Some are internal. But here's what the difference of TPS is and what Lean is. Toyota Production System is inculcated into the culture. That's why Toyota allows even their competitors to take a tour through the factory. We can actually ride in golf carts around the factory, inside the factory, looking at them, making the car. It's allowed. Why did they do that? Because they know it's not about what you see, it's about what is within the heads of the people, what is within their heart. And when you create that, how can you duplicate? How can you see that? You cannot duplicate that. So no matter which company you are with, you want to copy them, you cannot, kind of go inside the minds and hearts of people and take that knowledge. So that is why they are more open to people coming in. And that is, I think, if you want to see one difference, Lean is looked at as a tool set. I've talked about the 3 levels of Lean: non-Lean, pseudo-Lean. So pseudo-Lean is what we are talking about in other companies.
It's really your attitude and your approach. It's not the quality of the tool set. You do a lot with 5S and standard work. So
this is the one I said we are doing, the ASQ Synergy Success 2025. So please, if you have not registered, this is it's a very low cost, but you'll get 3 days of tremendous benefit out of it.
Sure, and that's great. It really is.
Five divisions of ASQ have come together to sponsor this. I'm going to, as I said, speaking on the mindset of excellence.
Sure, okay. Somebody asked, will the recording be shared? We're going to send out the raw recording with the RUs, and the edited recording will be on the LED YouTube channel, and links are in the chat. Feel free to reach out if you need more from me about that. Somebody else asked, how do you persuade some Lean practitioners to focus on principles, not tools?
If the leaders understand that, the people will automatically copy that. So the problem is really getting the leaders to understand that. And that is where Lean coaching, that is what my mission is.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're calling in from. You could have spent your last hour a lot of ways. We appreciate you spending it with us. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.